Hello. Sorry, guys. I know it's been longer than I intended. Um, First, I'm going to start with a note of clarification. I have realized now that I need to just flow with the Awen on this. The Awen is the Welsh word for inspiration. Um, I don't want to just throw words out because I have a schedule. So, whatever I said about a schedule before, however loosely based, I was incorrect on that. We're not going to schedule this. It's very much informal and it's going to be based on inspiration um, for my part, and I hope for everybody else eventually as well. So, what I'm thinking is I'll do more of the shorter Eistedfod type stuff, the poems and little stories and things like that, sharing creativity. I have some sketches I plan to bring into the next topic, and we'll go from there, see how it works. But all of these topics that we'd like to cover are so enormous, and they're all interconnected. There's really not a way to neatly compartmentalize them and just separate this is about this. No, it's all much messier, much more organic, and that's fitting for a druid. So that's the clarification. Just anything I said about a schedule, I'm sorry. This is all new to me as well, so I'm just discovering how it's going to work myself. Um, that's one thing. And the topic that was really coming to me was that I was inspired by was judging judgment. Actually, that was not something I planned to have as anything near the beginning of this series, whatever it is. Um, so it was kind of a surprise. But I think, in light of current events, and just society in general, uh, judging judgment is something we need to learn about, all of us, certainly myself included. Um, we do have judgment, obviously, as an aspect of our logical thinking. We make judgments every day about what we should eat, what we should wear. Should I wear something warm? It's based on the weather. Okay. And you make a judgment about that, and it comes very naturally. So, in some ways, society's condemnation of judgment has made us very wary of exercising our uh, divine gift of discernment and understanding. Um, and of course, there are very clear boundaries to what and how we should judge as fellow creatures. Judging other humans, that is not something that is our purview. Whatever faith you may have or not have, judgment of other human beings does not belong to any of us, um, unless you're an actual judge. But I doubt anybody in that position is watching me. So, I guess the first example that I thought of that we would all be familiar with is that old story of the blind men who are told to describe an elephant based on the part of it that they can touch. And of course, this leads to all kinds of uh, confusion because, of course, the guy by the trunk is like, oh, it's a huge snake. And then the guys by the legs are like, hell no, that's obviously like tree trunks, you idiot. And then the guy by the tail is like, no, you're all wrong. It's like a living whip. It snaps and, whatever. And the guys by the elephant's sides, of course, were like, you're all bonkers. It's like a wall. And the end of it was chaos. And they did not reach an understanding of the elephant because they did not cooperate. And they judged each other um, harshly, and they believed that they were the ones to have the exclusive view of the truth. And to me, I believe and I grew up in fundamentalist evangelical Christianity, exclusivism was huge. We were the only ones that had the truth, the true way to God. And the truth was only found in a literal understanding of the Bible. And everybody else is going to hell because they're wrong. And it's just not that simple. Um, it's a lot more complex. I'm not discounting Christianity altogether. I do admit that I have a bias um, against it because I went through so much dealing with the way I was brought up. It was very cultic and abusive in some ways, which not all Christianity is. There is a lot of value to be found in every faith, including Christianity. Um, in fact, there is a helpful verse in the Gospel of John, now that I thought of it. I'm not a Bible girl, obviously, but I do remember there was a verse about Jesus saying, um, "Judge not, lest you be judged." And everybody quotes that, but then they forget that the rest of it says, "Judge not according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment." Um, in my old age, I have forgotten the reference for those verses, but I know they're the Gospels. It's a quote of Jesus saying this. So there's a contrast, even in the Bible, about how we should judge and how we shouldn't judge. And obviously, any form of ultimate judgment is not for humans to pass upon other humans or any form of life. Um, that doesn't belong to us. So, what does belong to us? We are meant to judge things that come into our purview in the sense of, well, what should we do with this? It's something within our experience that we're meant to handle. And so, how do we approach that? The proper way for the blind guys with the elephant, would have been to cooperate and say, okay, um, I'm going to assume that you're not insane or stupid, and you are seeing this elephant very differently than I am for a reason. And then you compare notes, and perhaps you would not end up with a picture of an elephant, but you would be a lot closer than you are if you claim an exclusive access to the truth in any way. And I think that needs to be an example that we keep in mind as human beings, that we don't have access to all the information. We don't even have the access to all the information there is on ourselves. So, that is judging ourselves and our own motivations, our own thoughts, our own weaknesses, strengths, and so forth. That's within our purview. But we are not always accurate, even there. So, taking that outside and presuming that we can judge anyone else or any other creature at all is a bit arrogant. And we need to protect ourselves by using the proper judgment and saying, okay, I am not going to judge this person in any ultimate sense. I'm going to judge what I can see and what I experience from them, and that's not necessarily the truth of who they are, um, but you base your actions on your judgment to the best of your ability to see all the information, but keeping in mind you don't ever have all the information. So it's really impossible to make an accurate judgment as a subjective creature. Sorry for stuttering. And humans are subjective by nature. We're never going to have an objective understanding of anything as human beings because we're subjective, we're experiential. We perceive reality outside of ourselves through our senses. That's it. So that's what we have to work with, and that's what we're responsible for, and no more. That can be extremely liberating to know it's not up to you, it's not up to me to judge anything. accept as it comes to our experience, accept as we understand it. Um, and then no human being, obviously, especially with the extent of scientific knowledge now, or knowledge of any kind, no human being is going to have all the knowledge about everything. And we're not even going to be close. Um, Somebody who has zero book smarts may be really street smart. I have zero street smarts. I am totally impractical, and it's ridiculous, actually. I'm trying to get better with that. But I am book smart, and I have strengths in analysis or logic or intellectual whatever. It's not going to help me survive. I wouldn't last 5 minutes in a swamp or something if a natural disaster left me stranded. Much as I love nature, I'm not practical. And so, in that way, you could say I am ignorant. I'm stupid. Stupid is a cruel word, but we usually use it, even jokingly. So, whatever. We're all stupid in certain ways, we're all smart in certain ways. And we need to realize that we can make those judgments without making a blanket statement out of it and saying, you're stupid because you don't know this particular thing that I know. Really? No, you have to trust other people to know things that you don't. And that's the purpose of being social creatures. We have to depend on each other to an extent. And, we've come to this weird place in society where we tend to think we don't have to accept anything as true unless we happen to believe it and we can prove it. And that's just not how it works. You don't have time to study anatomy and contradict your doctor about what your physical symptoms may mean, for example. Um, Politically, it's just ridiculous. We can't even agree on what actually happened, what the facts are, and that's something we need to go back and realize. Okay, we have to pool our information and go by what actually was there. Do we have a recording? Do we have proof? Okay, if we do. If not, then it's not yours to judge. And you can form an opinion, but you cannot form a truth. You cannot have alternative facts, um, as the saying goes. So we need to realize that there's a balance. We do need to judge things, and we need to judge situations. We need to judge the appropriate way to act or react or handle a situation. That is true. But we are not responsible to judge a person in the ultimate sense. We're not responsible to judge the whole world, and we're not responsible to judge scientific facts, each one personally. No, nobody has seen an atom with the human eye, but very few of us question subatomic theory because that would just be foolish at this point. Um, that's another example. But these are all things, like I said in the beginning, they're very large subjects, and there's no way to adequately cover them. And I don't want to go very long with these. So this is just an opening of the topic, judging judgment, and just the beginning of some thoughts. And throughout the week, or for however long, this is the inspired topic. I will come back and give examples through creative expression. And I would love it if any of you are moved to participate. That would be great as well. Um, and I think that's about it for judging judgment for now. And I'll be sharing, I don't know when. We'll see. Bye.